I'm going to be waiting for people to join really quickly. But once you guys do, I'll get right on it. Hey, what's going on? What's going on, everybody? Hope everyone's having a fantastic Monday afternoon. I don't know if you had a chance to watch my latest video, but it's on Gregory Von Hill Jr. Hi everyone. I hope you guys all got a chance to watch the latest video, but that's what we're going to be talking about today. The fact that white supremacy is alive and well in this country, and that the institutions that we hold near and dear, for example, the criminal justice system, for example, the police departments countrywide, are doing everything in their power to uphold white supremacy. Now, you might have heard about some more recent news. We'll get into that in a second. In regards to the Oakland stabbing, a terrible tragedy. I'm going to be potentially writing about that tomorrow. Something I've been interested in is something that I've written about before is what happens when women of color are the victims, and how frequently justice is not served, as opposed to when crime is perpetrated against white women or white people in general. But yeah, today's story is an all too common one. It's something that happened 4 years ago. 2 different cases, 2 different families, 2 different states, one in Florida and one in New York. You guys might remember the very high-profile case of Eric Garner. He was killed by police officers. I can't breathe case. It was in New York. He broke up a fight. The police officers claimed they surrounded him. They claimed that he was selling loose cigarettes. They treated him like a hostile perp, and they choked him, and he suffered from asthma, and he died. Eric's daughter was an activist. She also passed away last year. However, 4 years have passed this incident, and no justice has been served. As a matter of fact, there's been an investigation for the past 4 years into this murder, this state-sponsored execution, basically. But in the meantime, Danielle Pantaleo, the person responsible, the police officer responsible for Eric's murder, he's been rewarded $500,000 with multiple salary increases, overtime, desk duty, which is common protocol for the most part. Another thing happened in that in the meantime, also 4 years ago in Florida. There was a man named Gregory Von Hill. His story is also familiar. A white lady who lives across the street calls the cops when Gregory is at his home, minding his own business, sitting in his garage. A father of 3 children, by the way, sitting in his own goddamn house, in his own garage, listening to Drake. White lady across the street calls the cops, says Gregory's listening to fuck you music with profanity in it. Police officers show up. Gregory, of course, closes the garage door immediately. Police officer doesn't even stop. The deputy sheriff actually shoots him through the garage door. 3 shots, 1 directly to the head, and Gregory Von Hill dies. An investigation was concluded. A wrongful death suit was launched towards the police department in Florida. 4 years later, the jury rewarded Gregory Von Hill's family $4. $1 for the funeral expenses, and $1 for each daughter, for each child. His 9-year-old daughter was across the street. He witnessed it. She witnessed her father get killed by the state. She got $1. Why am I talking about this? Well, one, a lot of people always accuse me of race baiting. People always say, Hassan, why do you cover these issues? Well, one, I'm against police brutality in general. I think that should be clear at this point. As a matter of fact, every single person that frequently covers Black Lives Matter, including Shaun King, for example, frequently covers police brutality against white people as well. The only group of activists that were there protesting Daniel Shaver's wrongful termination, his wrongful death. I don't know if you guys remember that, in the hallway in an Arizona hotel. The only group of activists that were protesting his death were Black Lives Matter activists. Now, the reason for why is because Black Lives Matter activists and black people in general, and people of color in general, understand the problem with police brutality, the lack of accountability, and how murder is basically built into the system. They understand it because it's a part of their daily lives. They're harassed by police officers daily. They have a much higher likelihood of being harassed. They have a much higher likelihood of being arrested for similar crimes. They have a much higher likelihood of getting increased jail time for the same crimes. These are all facts, backed by statistics. This is why we have a two-tier justice system, basically. Police brutality doesn't just affect black people. No one is making this argument. Police brutality kills more white people than it kills black people. We all know this. There are more white people in this country. But the reality is, racism, compounded on top of classism, it increases the likelihood that a black person could be killed in the hands of the police. It also increases the likelihood that they will not get any sort of reparation for this sort of injustice. And we see this worldwide. I mean, countrywide at least. Sorry. Anyway, so that's the story. It's surprising. Of course, by the way, Gregory Von Hill did have a weapon. He was in his own house, once again, and he was intoxicated. These were the two reasons why the jury found him 99% guilty of being executed by police officers. Where was the Castle Doctrine? Where was the NRA? Where were all of these people who would be up in arms for gun owners? They were nowhere to be found. None of that excuses being shot. None of that excuses being executed in the hands of the state for the crime of listening to music in your own garage. It's disgusting. The reason why I wanted to mention it is because of the disparity. The disparity in which those who end up killing people of color get death duties, they get salary increases, they go on to live their lives completely free of scrutiny. But their families, the families of their victims, are left behind and left with a state that shows them, once again, that they don't care about the peril that they're put through, the injustice. Another aspect of this that's really interesting, to me at least, is another aspect that's really interesting is the fact that Donald Trump obviously doesn't give a shit about this, one way or the other. I don't think he cares, but he knows that people care. He knows that white people care. White people care only when, and I'm generalizing, white people only care when black people are protesting this reality. When black people are protesting police brutality, they're not just protesting it for black people. They're protesting it for white people as well. But it doesn't matter. It's the very act that black people have the audacity to protest that white people find unfathomable. This is the reality. There's a long history of this, even going all the way back to the Civil Rights Movement. All those conservatives that claim every time Martin Luther King gets brought up, they claim that he was a Republican. Ridiculous. Those are the very same conservative principles that led to 66% of the country having a negative perception of the Civil Rights Movement at the time the Civil Rights Act was being passed. Don't ever forget that. Protest is supposed to make you uncomfortable because it's supposed to show you the uncomfortable realities that you're trying to avoid on a daily basis, especially through escapist consumerism, through watching football, for example. But that's the point. When 80% of the NFL is black, and they are way more likely of being victims in the hands of police brutality, of course they're going to protest this reality. And you should shut the fuck up and you should listen. But for Donald Trump, being the privileged asshat that he is, this protest is only a talking point for him. Whether it be the Russia charges, whether it be the Mueller investigation, or any number of things that could have happened that lead him open to criticism. Leave him open for criticism. He just uses the NFL protest immediately. That's a good deflection for him. It's a simple deflection. Something that is a stark reality for so many is a simple deflection for Donald Trump. That's how little he cares. Not just because you're black. That's how little he cares about Americans in general. That's how little he cares about anyone that's not Donald Trump. Anyway. That's what I wanted to say about this issue. If you have any thoughts, I'm going to look through your comments right now. Just leave them here. I'll go through them a little bit. I'm also turning on my Twitch stream right now. I will be talking about a variety of different things, including the Russia investigation and how I think our approach to that, what is this? Our approach to the Russia investigation has been a little overblown, and it's starting to frustrate me a little bit. I know that this is probably going to upset some people, especially because I know I have a variety of different people from the political spectrum here that are fans of mine, and some people are very involved in all the things that are happening in the Russia investigation. And yeah, it's something that has been bothering me for a while. It is part of the reason why I haven't offered a lot of coverage to it. I mean, I'm not saying that it's stupid. I think that, of course, anyway, of course that it's a big deal that a foreign country, a hostile foreign power, hostile foreign nation that is imperialist as well, is trying to interfere in our elections. But it's to me, it speaks of a much larger systemic problem that we're not addressing if we try to blame everything on Russia. I think that's a big problem. Other people agree with me as well. In the end of the day, all the things that you're mad at right now are not because of Vladimir Putin. You're mad at the Republican Party that still votes with Donald Trump 94% of the way, including those who are outspoken and against Donald Trump, like Jeff Flake and others. You're mad at white nativist policies that the Republican Party has advanced for decades, and the authoritarian, fascist evolution of those immigration policies, where we're at now, locking children in cages. You're mad at income inequality. You're not mad at Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin might have helped Donald Trump become president, but Donald Trump isn't the only problem facing America. Donald Trump is merely a symptom. He is the logical conclusion that we would arrive at with years and years and years of democratic compromise and inaction from both sides, with Republicans only advancing certain policies that they know will be favorable to their white constituency, from loose and deregulated gun laws to, like I said, racism, protecting your right to bear arms and protecting your right to say the N-word, basically. And the Democratic Party not really doing much to combat that and consistently compromising to the Republicans. We have arrived at Donald Trump. This is a problem that is much larger than Vladimir Putin and Russian interference. This is a problem that's much larger than Cambridge Analytica, even though Cambridge Analytica is a very significant problem. Not just because of Cambridge Analytica, but because of Facebook in general. The fact that Facebook has so much power to influence people's behavior, and the fact that Facebook is an environment that is ripe with misinformation, is a genuine problem and a genuine threat posed towards our democracy. But we're not analyzing it from that framework. We're not also analyzing anything from a cybersecurity aspect, which is another reason why I'm incredibly frustrated. We constantly talk about Russia meddling in our affairs, but we don't talk about what we can do to prevent it in the future. Midterm elections are coming. No one is talking about any sort of ballot initiatives that we could potentially take. I don't even think that we've passed any sort of checks and and boundaries for ensuring that our data mining processes on our social media platforms are adequate. They're not. On top of that, like I said before, and I will say again, I think that this is more so a systemic problem, a systemic failure, both in the hands of the Democratic establishment that is unwilling to compromise to its own base, but very willing to compromise with the Republicans at any given term for this moderate conservatives, for these moderate conservatives that are everywhere, I guess, all around the country, but for some reason not voting for Democrats yet, even though we had the most moderate conservative with a long history and a fantastic resume. We had Hillary Clinton. She failed. She lost. Not because of Russia, though. She lost on her own. Maybe the FBI helped a little bit. Maybe Russia moved the needle a little bit. But the margins should be that thin between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump? You really think that that's justifiable? That this person who was at the top of her game, who should have been president, that so many people love still to this day, that people literally paid $300 to go see at Ozzy Fest or whatever the fuck in New York speak. This person lost because of Facebook ads pushed by Russia to Donald Trump? Really? No, she lost because people are sick and tired of elitist politicians upholding the status quo, the same status quo that oppresses us at every which turn. She didn't lose because too many people simply chose not to vote when Bernie lost. People, 160 plus million, I think 180 million people didn't vote in this election. To claim that it is their fault is incorrect. Political inaction and economic disenfranchisement has pushed people away from voting because they don't feel as though either party represents their best interests. Politicians need to take accountability. Democrats and Republicans need to take accountability. Because I vote Democrat, reluctantly, I have to say that Democrats need to take accountability and really take a cold, hard look at what they're doing, but more importantly, what they're not doing. Because in this day and age, yeah, there is performative identity politics pushed forward by the Democratic Party, where they make it seem as though they care about certain civil liberties and rights, and sure, they do to an extent. But ultimately, there's a problem. There's an underlying problem that neither party seeks to address, and that is rampant economic inequality. It is wage exploitation. It's the fact that our wages have been stagnant for decades, but everything costs more. The price of college has increased 1,000% or 2,000%, something crazy like that. The price of housing has increased over 200, 300%, while our wages are stagnant. There's a reason for that. It's because both parties, and this might shock you, both parties care about corporate interests over the interests of their citizens. This is what I've been fighting for a very long time. I don't care that Bernie Sanders wasn't a Democrat. I don't care that he was independent, but caucuses with the Democrats more frequently than some Democratic senators and some Democratic congresspeople who would rather turn away and turn over to the Republican Party, mind you. It's disgusting. The whole Bernie was not a Democrat concept is ridiculous at this point. You see what the Democratic Party is doing. You see what happened in the aftermath of the Ocasio-Cortez victory in New York. Joe Crowley is still he's still symbolically in the race. It doesn't matter. The Democratic Party only cares about one thing, and that is to ensure that those same high-paid, elitist Democrats continue to be in positions of power. That's the only thing they care about. They don't care about your future. They care about protecting their own future. They care about seizing as much wealth and power for themselves in the meantime in the process. Corporations pay for both candidates almost evenly at this point, both Democrats and Republicans. Why are they hedging their bets this way? Because the difference is virtually insignificant. And that's for every angle. Whew. Anyway, that was a lot. Holy shit. Okay, let's see what's going on in our on my Twitter here. I mean, on my Instagram. What am I saying? Not on my Instagram or my Twitter. I'm talking about Twitch. Let's see what the hell is going on my Twitch, because I haven't looked at it yet, and I know that there's like 50 people watching on there as well. Sorry about that, everybody on Twitch. I will pay more attention to you right now. I'm getting on right now so I can see exactly what the hell is going on. Okay. What's going on? Soapbox Talk. Love you, Hassan. Thank you, Precision 101. For everyone who's still on Facebook right now, please come join my Twitch. It's www.twitch.tv/hasanAbi. I go live on there for approximately 3 to 4 hours every goddamn day. It's kind of a problem. It's definitely an addiction, but it helps. I wanna stay in contact with you guys. I want to talk to you more, and this is the best way I can do that. I pinned the comment. If you go click on that right now and go follow, you can join the conversation there. I also bring a lot of my journalist friends on. It's great. It's a lot of fun, and I really urge you guys to do that. I mean, you don't really need to watch Fortnite or love playing Fortnite or even care about it remotely, but that's what I do. I'm going to get Twitch just for you. Thank you, thank you, Dana. Thank you so much. Anyway, if you love watching me and hearing my thoughts, you can watch me play video games. I play with subscribers as well from time to time. If you subscribe, you have the opportunity to play with me as well. But like I said, this is mostly so I get to connect with you guys. This is something that I do every day regardless. I play video games on Twitch every goddamn day. And this way you'll get to enjoy that and reach out to me. Anyway, that'll be all for today. I love you all. Thank you. Thank you, Facebook. Peace. I'm going to continue this conversation over at twitch.tv/hasanAbi. Like I said, twitch.tv/HASANABI. So go over there and check me out there if you want. And also, don't forget to watch my latest video and join the Big Tent Democratic Coalition. Bye.